Thank you, speakers, moderators, and participants for joining us at this concluding session of the World City Summit 2022. And thank you to all our virtual attendees too, who are tuning in from all over the world. This has been the first full-scale edition of the World City Summit since 2018, and we have seen the return of many familiar programs. This edition also saw the inaugural edition of the Science of Cities Symposium, the convening of World City Summit's first Knowledge Council, and the first in-person Smart Cities workshop. I'm very heartened by the response and support to these activities. This year, we welcomed over 1,000 delegates from more than 60 cities, including government leaders, industry experts, and academics who convened at the Sands Expo and Convention Center. The interactions were vibrant, and I'm pleased to see the spirit of knowledge exchange and collaboration thriving throughout the summit. The chosen theme for the World City Summit is on Liveable and Sustainable Cities Emerging Stronger. Given that we live in a time of prolonged and unpredictable disruptions, we have come together to discuss how cities can chart a path forward, not only to adapt, but to bounce back and thrive in the face of multiple challenges. The exchanges at the Mayor's Forum, the sharing by speakers and conversations at the various sessions and roundtables all had a common refrain. Our cities need to be designed, funded, built, and operated differently if we are to emerge stronger tomorrow. Undeniably, there are great challenges in creating livable and sustainable cities in the face of a pandemic, a climate crisis, and digital disruptions. Senior Minister and Coordinating Minister for National Security, Mr. Hean, outlined in his special remarks at the WCS plenary on livable and sustainable cities that cities have to address dilemmas such as reaping benefits of urbanization without the disbenefits of concentration, achieving growth, yet have sustainable and livable communities, and staying open, yet remaining cohesive and united in purpose. But in the face of these challenges are also great opportunities for us to emerge stronger. And we can do so if we all work together. The World City Summit Development Track explored how we can do this through different modes of strategic partnerships. We heard about the Public-Private Partnership, PPP, efforts by Port City Colombo, and also the community government partnerships that Amy Chester of Rebuilt by Design helped to nurture in their work with Boulder County in the USA. And over at the Sustainable Financing Track, we heard about innovative financial models that address interlinked issues including ESG, resilience, and decarbonization. I hope these lessons will inspire us to find new modes of cooperation to create better cities together. This year's 11th World City Summit Mayors Forum saw 65 mayors and city leaders engaged in a lively discussion on two key themes: digitalization and decarbonization. In his opening address to the forum, Minister for National Development and Minister in charge of Social Services Integration, Mr. Desmond Lee, noted that digitalization and decarbonization will be key to charting a path for livable, sustainable, and resilient cities. However, it is crucial to apply a human lens to these efforts and to ensure equitable outcomes. Many mayors recognized that digitalization offers us the means to tackle rapidly evolving and complex challenges. When utilized well, digitalization can help to make our cities more efficient, resilient, and ready for the future. But at the same time, several mayors reminded that people need to be at the center of digitalization efforts. Datuk Maimuna Muhammad Sharif, Executive Director of UN Habitat, pointed to the persistent digital divide that exists in the world right now. Mayor of Antwerp, Mr. Bart de Wever, highlighted that the digital divide we face today is not just a technological access divide, but also a skills divide that threatens the livelihoods of many. All around, mayors echoed the sentiment that city leaders need to ensure that digital transformation must leave no one and no place behind. Mr. Tan Suhan, who presented perspectives from the Young Leaders Symposium, posed an important question for us to consider. Digitalization can indeed help us survive, to thrive, and decarbonize. But how can it help us to humanize? Mayor Ahmad Abu Talib of Rotterdam reminded that even as we embrace digitalization and create smart cities, he said, the thing that is smart is you, the people and leaders of a city. They are the ones who should determine our objectives and priorities. Technology and digitalization are merely enablers. The second urgent issue discussed by the mayors was on decarbonization. Throughout the session, there was a clear recognition that cities must take immediate action together, the public sector, the private sector, and the people sector. In fact, we even heard how children can be agents of change in this decarbonization process through the remarks by Toru Hashimoto, Director General of International Affairs at the city of Yokohama, who shared about the city's Eco School. Various ideas and principles for decarbonization were also offered by delegates during the forum. There was a call for less by the Mayor of Rotterdam. Mayor Denise Phua of Singapore urged for decarbonization plans to incorporate the 3 I's: integrated, intentional, and investment. We also had Mr. Chintan Ravesha of Arab offering the 3 R's principle of reducing emissions, restoring the natural environment, and removing carbon from the atmosphere. A clear message was that decarbonization needs to be a planned, managed, and led process. Even as decarbonization efforts were shared during the forum, co-moderator Professor Greg Clark urged mayors to continue addressing the 4 elephants in the room. The challenge of scaling up decarbonization efforts beyond singular projects, the split between those enthusiastic about decarbonization and those that fear it. The difference in ability to decarbonize between more affluent parts of the world and the so-called bottom billion, and how to build the relationship between cities and rural, agricultural, and coastal areas so that the whole ecosystem can be addressed. Ultimately, decarbonization initiatives will take time to implement. Our cities will need strong leaders who must focus on developing clear regulatory structures and institutionalized processes so that long-term plans can be implemented over the course of multiple administrations. In the face of these challenges and the opportunities that present itself, will cities emerge as stronger places for growth and innovation in the future? Indeed, there are many challenges of today that needs attention. And Mr. David Wallenstein, Chief Exploration Officer of Tencent, highlighted that future challenges that once seemed unthinkable, such as threats to food, energy, and water supply in developed cities, are fast becoming key issues for these cities. But as Professor Lily Kong, President of Singapore Management University, shared at the Future Cities track, although the precise nature, scale, and priorities of our cities may change, cities are fundamentally here to stay. Cities will in fact continue to be attractive places for people to move towards. The future will be bright if we can work together and leverage our collective wisdom and resources. And as commented by Mr. Chu Meng Leung of ST Engineering during the Smart Cities track, there is now a great opportunity for cities to achieve ambitious sustainability and livability goals by leveraging on technology. Personally, I'm hopeful of a future where our cities and its people will emerge stronger. And the rich exchange that we've had at World City Summit 2022 has provided us with many ideas and concrete actions that can help us to get there. And with that, I would like to thank all our speakers, moderators, key partners, and sponsors who have made it possible for us to convene a successful World City Summit 2022. Your support is really much appreciated. I also want to thank all attendees for joining us this year, both in person and virtually, and trust that you enjoyed the sharing and discussions. And I hope to see you again in 2024. Thank you.